I'll be honest, I've abused it.
Okay. In what way?
I was more focused on losing a hell of a lot of weight than focused on my diabetes.
Okay.
So in the long run, I ended up with DKA. I was in intensive care for a week.
Permission given by Sam. This is the lovely Sam, and we're gonna talk about her type 1 diabetes journey. She's given us full consent, full permission,
Yep.
right? So I just want you to share about your story about when you got diagnosed, how you got diagnosed, and what were the symptoms that you had.
So I was 13 when I got diagnosed. Obviously going through the changes was hard for anybody from a teenager going from 13. My symptoms were that I was constantly drinking through the day, and then I was obviously just drinking, and then up all night using the bathroom. And my mum just obviously had enough of it. And then obviously I was falling asleep in class because I was caught up all night going to the toilet. And then I ended up losing a stone in a week.
Oh wow.
Which was good. It was good in that respect, but in the others not, because obviously you're filling yourself up with drink. And then I think it was about, I don't know, it was in April the month.
Sorry, you went a whole month of having the symptoms before getting diagnosed?
Yeah, it was a little while before before my mum took me to have a blood test. I had the blood test one day, and by the following day I was in Queen Mary's Hospital with my sugars running over 50. So they turned around and said to my mum, if she didn't get me in then, I wouldn't be here now. So it was a big shock, to be fair.
So since being diagnosed, how have you found managing diabetes? Was it easy transition or yeah?
The thing is, I haven't followed the rules at all. I'll be honest, I've abused it.
Okay. In what way?
I was more focused on losing a hell of a lot of weight than focused on my diabetes.
Okay.
So in the long run, I ended up with DKA. I was in intensive care for a week because I wasn't doing my sugar level, my insulin, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Doing my sugar levels, just not my insulin.
So sorry to interrupt. So how are you? So if you're doing your sugar levels, but not your insulin, so does that mean that if your sugar levels were high, then you just give yourself a bit of insulin, or?
No, I just let it run. I didn't do, the only insulin that I did was my long-acting one.
Okay.
My quick-acting, I never done.
Oh, okay.
Because I got it into my head that insulin was a steroid, which obviously steroids then make you put weight on, and that's what I was more interested in worrying about my weight than what I was about my diabetes. And then I ended up with DKA, which is, I would never like to go back there again. And as I said, in intensive care for a week, plumbed up to sliding scales, drips, everything like that.
Okay.
Not a very pleasant sight, to be fair. And then come out of that, I was fine for a little while, and then I went straight back to doing what I did before. It wasn't until I did a Minty course to do with the diabetes, which is carb counting. If anybody is diabetic, I think it's a priority to get on.
Especially type 1 diabetes.
Type 1 diabetes, yeah. I think it is only for type 1s, I believe. Because
there's a separate one for type 2 diabetes.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did the Minty course, and it's all about carb counting, and I inject now for how many carbs I eat, which has helped me out massively in the respect of my A1C used to be 15 to 16 in the old money.
Yeah.
And now it's gone down to 6.9.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a big difference, and I feel a hell of a lot better for it.
Yeah. Are there any complications or any problems that have happened from stuff that you experienced before?
Yeah, so I'm currently going through having laser surgery. I get blood spots at the back of my eyes, and I was doing a fitness, and one of the blood spots had burst, and it's leaked between my eye and my retina. So at the minute I've got one blurry eye and one eye that's fine. So, but they said it's nothing to worry about. It won't ever go back to seeing full vision, but I've just got to have laser surgery to prolong anything else going wrong with it.
And did they say that this was linked to the diabetes?
Yes, this is linked to the diabetes.
Because your numbers were very high before.
Because I let it got run for too long in the respect of abusing the diabetes. This is obviously the repercussions of that.
Any other concerns about your health? Are your kidneys working okay?
All my
Everything
organs
is-
and all that lot's working okay. The last blood test that I had, they said it was all fine. The thyroid, the kidneys, everything was absolutely fine.
Okay.
Just since March this year is when the eyes went, well, one of the eyes went funny.
How long have you had diabetes now?
This year will be 20 years.
Oh, that's a long time. Yeah.
20 years,
20
yeah.
years. Now, if you were going to advise any youngster, newly diagnosed, young teenagers, early teens, well, that's early teens, to teenagers, early 20s, all the way to 30, what would you say to them?
Don't abuse it. Do not abuse it. If they're saying to you, do this way, do it that way, just please, but just do it. Because in the long run, yes, it's a pain in the bum having to do it, but in the long run, it's keeping you healthy and keeping you alive. If you got families, everybody's got families, nobody really wants to be seeing that happening to their families. I know my parents didn't.
Do you have any fears or worries about living with diabetes? Does diabetes restrict your life at all? Do you feel like you're held bound and you can't live your life because you've got type 1 diabetes?
When I was first diagnosed, it did take away my big dream job. My big dream job was to go into the army.
Okay.
And obviously with the army rules and regulations, you can't go into the army if you've got, I think it's like type 1 diabetes or ABC, I can't remember exactly. But obviously when I was 13, I was too young to sign up and I had been diagnosed with diabetes. So it took that away from me, but that's personal for me, that's not. But no, I don't, it hasn't stopped me doing anything. I'm driving, I'm doing fitness.
And do you feel like you can eat anything? Can you eat anything that you want?
By my hospital, they said you can eat what you want, but you just have to make sure you correct it with your insulin. I don't drink. People go to me, well, why don't you have a drink? No, because the problem is with me, when you have a drink, it sends my sugar levels in the other way, which is too low, and then you're having to eat something just to bring it back up again to a stable level. So I just refuse not to drink. Yeah. I just don't drink any alcohol at all. They said that you can eat and you can drink anything as long as you correct with your insulin. But because I'm doing this carb counting, I follow that. I do follow it to the T, but there's obviously sometimes that you just feel like, you know what, I will have that little slice of cake, not just because it's sitting there, because it's a little treat for yourself. So like at the end of the week, you've done your carb counting for the week, on the Saturday evening, have yourself that little slice of cake, work out the carbs, and then just inject your quick acting insulin.
But do you feel miserable sometimes about having diabetes? Do you feel like it weighs you down?
It does get me down, because then I think to myself that people looking at me when I have to inject outside or things like that. And when I was growing up, I had it a lot through school, when I was out with my parents. And like they say, when I'll just do it under the table quickly, lift up your top, do it in your stomach and it'll be fine. But it's difficult to explain in the respect of, like, I found it difficult. Others might not find it difficult because you've got it for the rest of your life. You can't get rid of it. You just got to accept it. There is nothing that is going to cure it, but to help yourself is just keep doing what you're doing. Obviously, yeah, just carry on. Everybody's got this. You can do it.
Yeah. So I like what you said about there is nothing that can cure it at the moment, right? We don't know where technology and life is taking us. However, there are certain parts of the world, and even here, where there's misconceptions about diabetes can be cured with herbs. So you get people saying that they should stop their insulin and try herbs, and we've had, unfortunately, lost a lot of people because of that. So it's good for you to say, rather than me, the clinician, saying it, that there is nothing at the moment, and this is 2025 and we're in May, that can cure it. Between now and whenever you're watching this video, there might be a cure, but at the moment there is no cure for it.
They said to me, obviously, you could have a pancreas transplant, but that's not always guaranteed. You could still be type 2, still be on tablets, but then sometimes you may still have to inject a little bit. And the whole process of having the pancreas transplant is so you don't have to inject. I think to myself, what's the point in putting yourself through all that transplant when it's the 50-50 chance whether it will take or it won't. And not only that, you take then 10 times longer to heal because of your immune system so low in the first place with the diabetes.
No, so I'm really grateful to you for airing this interview, because most times I have another lady coming in to share her story. She's got type 1 diabetes as well. So we're interviewing different people with different types of diabetes, type 1, type 2, type 3C, and so there's so many of them now. But it's great to hear your story so that people can learn from it, and then obviously we will add to the teaching. Thank you, Sam.
You're welcome, no problem.
I just want to, I wouldn't say wish you all the best because you've got the care, and just continue doing what you're doing, and we hope that the eyes will remain stable and there'll be no other complications from the diabetes that you've got now.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So we've just had the amazing story of Samantha and talking about her story about diabetes, type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is real, and I just want to explain that it is a condition where the body attacks itself. Pancreas is what produces insulin. The pancreas sits at the back of the stomach, and it's an organ that is responsible for digestion and also producing insulin. And insulin is a hormone that actually helps the sugars that come from your food to get to where they need to go. Simple terms. With Sam's story, you can see that the way she managed her insulin when she was a lot younger made things a little bit more complicated, but glad that they could catch it early. We've had stories of people who unfortunately were not caught early, and they've had things like amputation, or they've lost their sight, or they've had a heart attack, or they've had a stroke. Those are the extreme cases. Diabetes can be managed, and you can live well with diabetes as long as your case is managed properly. We've just heard the story about Sam and her type 1 diabetes, and how not managing her diabetes with the insulin properly and just checking the levels and doing nothing about it made her have some complications from diabetes. Now, I'm glad that from her story that they caught it early and they're able to do something about it. Now, can they reverse the effects of the diabetes on the eyes? Possibly not, as you heard in a video. However, hopefully they're able to catch it in time for problems to not happen any further, hopefully. Now, you may be living with diabetes, or you may know someone who has diabetes, type 1 diabetes, or any other form of diabetes. We want to encourage you to support them as best as possible. Diabetes can be a bit of a lonely journey, it can be a bit cumbersome, it can be overwhelming, whether you are a family member, whether you're a friend, whether you are a boss. Your understanding of type 1 diabetes is very vital, because you don't know, and we are still trying to understand, even us as clinicians, what the people living with the condition are going through. So when you see them have their insulin, or maybe they need to have a break, or maybe they're having a hypo, which is a low blood sugar, please be more understanding. And it's important for us to know what to do. It's not about having a pity party or like a sympathy session with them, but it's saying, okay, what are your low levels? Where do you keep your hypo kit so we get them to have certain things if their blood sugar level is dipping? Understand how you can support them, because if someone at work passes out because maybe they've not allowed a break to go and fix their insulin and they pass out, you need to know what to do. If their sugars are going high and they need to fix it, you need to know how you can support them, not giving them an injection, but how you can support them. Type 1 diabetes cannot be cured at the moment. No herbs, no medication can cure type 1 diabetes. However, we can use insulin to manage it. In Sam's story, she talked about a long-acting insulin and a short-acting insulin. Now, the long-acting insulin, so it's a bit like it's mimicking the pancreas. Once there's a bit of sugar in, it releases it over time. So trickle through the day. Some of the long-acting insulin can last from anywhere from 12, even more hours, up to 24, 42 hours, depending on the type of insulin. The short-acting insulins are the insulins that we actually ask patients to take just before their food. Sometimes you can take it at the time of your meal or just shortly after, depending on the insulin. Your clinician will tell you when is the best time to take your insulin. Now, with the short-acting insulin, I always explain that they go into the body and act like a bodyguard, right? Because when you have people that are going to attack an area and you get the police force, right? The police gets there before the attack actually happens. Maybe there's going to be a riot somewhere, or there's going to be a protest somewhere. The government will never let the protesters start before sending the police there. Rather, they will send enough policemen or the army, if needed, to guard the area and make sure that damage is not done, or even if damage is done, it's not as much. That's what your short-acting insulin does. Your short-acting insulin gets into your body and it waits for the food to come. So the short-acting insulin is saying, I'm here, I'm going to guard the area. So when the food comes into the body, the short-acting insulin is already there saying, nope, I'm not going to let you go any higher than this than you actually have done. And as a result, the blood sugar levels do not spike the way they need to go, and they can actually come out of the body. Diabetes is a minefield. It is a condition that, if not managed well, can lead to complications, but if managed well, people can live well with it. I hope that we can take away something from the story of Sam, who has kindly given us the audience and the consent to share her story. Like many other people with type 1 diabetes, there are many Sams out there who actually have experienced things with their diabetes and are learning from that. And there are young ones who are coming who hopefully will learn from Sam's story so we don't have a repeated case. Remember that diabetes does not define you. You can live well, you can live strong, you can live happy with diabetes, even though sometimes it can be burdensome. Can't wait to see you on the next video. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. Turn on your notification button because we're always bringing you content that is of value to you. Thank you so much.